There are events that are not recorded in the books, nor in the chronicles of earthly time. They inhabit the invisible corridors of the universe, where the vastness of infinity is merely a veil. These are narratives that awaken only when the human soul dares to incline its ear to listen to the chant of the stars. Today, we will unveil the chant of an ancient struggle, the genesis of a star war that carved scars into the fabric of the cosmos itself. Before the first human breath tore through the air, before the dew fell upon the gardens we know, our planet was a raw sphere. The seas were acidic, and the earth lay in a primeval silence, awaiting a breath of destiny. But in other corners of the infinite universes, there were already advanced civilizations, woven from light and from technologies that transcended the limits of matter. They already had masters of genetic manipulation and of the laws of existence. However, their souls had reached a threshold tending toward stagnation. They had become too mental, too technological, and the spirit, tired of perfection, clamored for a new path. Earth, then, was conceived as a new project, a school world. Its mission would be to be a blank canvas where experience could flourish into a new color of evolution, with free will having greater space. So these cosmic gardeners from the advanced civilizations descended upon the terrestrial blue orb not as conquerors, but as those who prepare the earth for the sea. Above all, they modified the physical structure of the world. The oceans, which were the acidity of chaos, were transformed to the alkalinity of acceptance, becoming a suitable cradle for life. To begin the great work, they brought with them a self-replicating molecule, a living seed, an essence woven from the synthesis of multiple life forms and genetic patterns from the distant region from which they came. This molecule, the very promise of life, was released into the freshly prepared waters so that the flourishing would come from the element of water. And from the silence of the waters, life erupted, like the first note of a chant that matter could no longer hold. But the seed, carrying ancestral echoes of its stellar origin, brought with it a deviation. From it arose beings that became more rapidly adapted, immense, giant, and they became dominant. These beings were the dinosaurs, children of that advanced civilization's experiment on our blue planet. The presence of this species, strong and ancestral, represented a fundamental error in the design. The purpose was to forge humanity, a receptacle for the DNA and fractals of the cosmic gardeners, enabling a new form of evolution for them, so that their DNA could experience greater free will in a new species under construction. How? The celestial monitors wondered, could the new species be sown? If the Earth already had a master, a reptilian monarch of immense power, coexistence was the impossible that could not be embraced. The project was threatened at its very foundation. In various evolutionary systems, each one has a dominant species, for example. In some, it is felines. in others avians, in others reptilians. But on Earth the plan was no for these reptilians to be dominant. The dilemma weighed like a mountain on the conscience of the cosmic gardeners. Abandon the human project, or tear the veil of neutrality with an act of extinction of the great reptiles. They chose the second path, and so the sky was divided by a decision that would alter galactic destiny, so that the action would not be perceived by other galactic civilizations monitoring the New World. The operation needed a mask of natural tragedy. The military intervention to wipe the dominant beings off the map was camouflaged, disguised as a mere cosmic accident. The fall of a celestial body over Yucatan 65 million years ago. It was a false flag military operation. What seemed to be the fatality of stone was the cold steel of intervention. But the cosmos has sharp ears. The secret, like sand slipping through the fingers, could not be held forever. When the truth ascended like a bitter smoke, that the disappearance of the dominant reptiles had been a deliberate act, a disguised action, the universe trembled. Indignation turned to fury, and fury turned into the Great Star War. This was not a summer conflict. The ensuing combat, known in the ethereal annals as the Orion War, may have lasted millions of years. The cosmos became an arena for unimaginable military power on both sides, so unimaginable as capable to destroy not just planets but entire constellations. Alliances dating back to the very dawn of creation were broken, and consequently new military alliances were formed. Hundreds of galactic federations and civilizations took sides. Ancient stellar families, united by pacts of loyalty and genetic ties to the extinct lineage, rose in a chorus of revenge and justice, interpreting the act of reptilian extinction as an unacceptable affront. Earth, young, innocent, became the most bittersweet of trophies, the symbol of a dispute that would cause unimaginable damage to the civilizations involved. And the race that was about to be born, humanity, was known at its inception as contested children of the universe. The Orion War possibly never truly ceased. It merely changed its arena and its weapons. Those who allied with the legions combating the human project even after direct military confrontations continued to consider this new species, forged in chaos and endowed with experimental free will, as a threat to the hegemony and power of older civilizations. What began as a direct military confrontation could supposedly continue as a subtle and constant plan of cosmic boycott. Our history on Earth, with its cycles of sudden advance and inexplicable setbacks, can perhaps be read as the reflection of this boycott. They seek to mark and delay our progress, maintaining confusion and duality as masters of our destiny. And the most immediate danger resides in our own soil. Reports say that some of the leaders of the referred legions were, at some point in the war, sent to Earth. They remain here, imprisoned in locations unknown to humanity. That is why there is a warning across the cosmos. It is an act of profound naivety and risk to seek ancient temples too. Open doors and activate portals. Those who seek to awaken this ancestral force, even in the hope of greater knowledge, do not comprehend the caliber of the forces they would unleash. It is also worth mentioning that during the height of the war, remote civilizations felt the tremor of the conflict and, in a burst of passion, offered to serve the cause, throwing themselves into the fight against what they understood as the negativity consuming the cosmos. They fought with all fervor, but blinded by hatred and the shadow of others, they ended up not fighting the negativity that inhabited within themselves. They forgot that the truth must be found in the mirror of the soul and not in the blade of the enemy. Tragedy reached them when the war empire retaliated, destroying their inhabited planets. Worlds now carbonized and lifeless, remaining in the sky is a painful reminder of their past actions. Here on Earth, while the war of Orion echoed among the stars, a new kind of being emerged, a being that bleeds and loves, that fears and confronts, that falls and ascends once more. A being that makes mistakes and follows the evolutionary path, leveraged by free will. A being that carries within itself fractals and fragments of DNA from various advanced civilizations and at the same time carries the freedom to create something that never existed before. And for the advanced civilizations that were at war, the observation of human overcoming also represents the observation of their own overcoming, also representing the healing of the pains of their past. Well, how many records of events across the universe remain hidden? But not in scrolls or books, but in the secret folds of the human mind, of those capable of touching what resides beyond matter, of those capable of surfing through the invisible corridors of the universe. If you have journeyed with us through this chant of the stars, subscribe and check out the other narratives on our channel. Thank you.